Alright, welcome back to the Angry Badger Minis. We are still working on our bikes here, but we don't have much left to do here. And I'm trying a new camera angle and whatnot. Basically all we've got to do is put the fairing and the guns on, the little banner pole in the back, and then we've got 4 attack bikes to finish. And we're done with this stuff. And then we have 6, but it's I'm sorry, not 6. I'm sorry, we've got oh man, with all the stuff I got, I tend to forget about these things. I got these 3 for the command squad, which will probably be last, but we've got 5 more. It's gonna end up being 6 more land speeders, because I found out about the double or dual assault cannon land speeder that Samuel can have, and I'm really digging that. Plus it'll be a plastic model, so it'll be a lot easier to deal with than the fine cast model that I have on his bike, and it'll give me a couple of different options. So, you know, as far as firepower, bullets, you know, versus, you know, one plasma cannon shot, if you will. So I'm really looking forward to that, actually. Just not looking forward to putting the land speeders together, because they just never seem to match up. So like I've said in a past video, I'll probably have to put something in the crack, you know, green stuff or something like that, so that I can essentially fill that crack up. So and I apologize if you hear my dog in the background, but it's you know, they're playing this late at night. That's weird. But anyway, so let's get started. We've already got shoulder pads on. We got all these extras here. There's quite a few. Of course, we'll need some of those, you know, for the land speeders and whatnot. So we're going to get into the fairings. That's the first thing. Now, I had a plan initially where I was going to take the fairings, and I'm also hoping you guys have a better quality, because I found a new setting on this this program that I'm using for my phone, this app, to Wi-Fi stream to my computer, because my computer is not the best computer in the world compared to what I used to have, but it is what it is, and we'll make it work. But anyway, back to my plan here. My plan was that all of the sergeants, you know, squad sergeants or whatever, would have, see if you can see this fairing here. See how it's got that little dark angel symbol on the top there, little icon thing right there, maybe that contrast. Well, the rest of them do not, and I was figuring, well, you know, since I'm only gonna have, you know, 8 sergeants, or I think it's 8 sergeants, well, it would have been 5, because the sergeants that came in the dark vent, well, no, they got them too. Okay, so anyway, all the sergeants seem to have some kind of, like, we'll call it a fairing hood or hood ornament, if you will. And I figured, you know, I'll just roll with that, and everything will be cool, and then everybody else can just have the regular fairing, and that'll help, you know, in a way to note who they are or what have you. But I don't think that's going to be the case, or that I'm going to be able to get by with that, because I have 24 bikes here, not including the the attack bikes, and I do not have, to my knowledge, 24 regular fairings. So we're just you're gonna have to overlook that. I guess if I really wanted to, I could cut it off, but you know, I don't really see a point. Not to mention it would take a little bit more to get in there to kind of trim that out. And I'm sitting here saying this, and I'm, you know, turning these over to get an idea just how many I actually do have, but I'm pretty sure I don't have 24 of the regular fairings, motorcycle fairings. So yeah, there's no way. I mean, it just does not make any sense in any stretch of the imagination that I would have 24. So anyway, here's all of our, you know, our high speed ones, and then we've got our regular ones here. So we don't have to worry about what's going on now. We're just going to throw the fairing on, and what I like to do is, you don't need a lot of glue for this. all you're gonna do is you're literally just gonna put some glue right here on the handlebar. Let me turn it for you. Right here on the handlebar where the gun's gonna go for the 2 guns, and then you're gonna put some glue right here, and then glue on these 2 spots. Let me back up. So we're not gonna do the gun part right now on these 2 spots. Sorry about that. We're gonna put some glue here on this flat part, and then 2 here, and then we're gonna move on. And how I'm gonna end up doing this is, these have been sitting here for hours actually, because I had to go drive somewhere and do a meeting. So kind of a little bit behind schedule, not only with the live stream, but also with what, you know, I'm trying to accomplish here. But we are still way ahead of schedule, let me tell you, which I'm really excited about. It's, you know, this is literally a dream come true, if you will. So, yep, a little bit of glue here, a little bit of glue there, a little bit of glue there, and then we're just gonna press fit this on here. The ones that came in the Dark Vengeance box set, they slipped down into it. So, that's why I was kind of, I guess I got my gluing confused, if you will. And then we're just going to set that right over there and get it lined up for the next one. And in this batch assembly, it's giving stuff time to dry as well. And for whatever reason, I'm just gonna go with, you know, what we got here, and we'll just see how many we've got left over. Oops, wrong one. I mean, that doesn't look like 24 to me, but you know, who knows? Maybe I'm so tired I just can't tell. But my goal here tonight is I'm going to get these bikes done. They will be done tonight, or at least that's the plan. I've got actually a pretty busy day tomorrow, and but the goal is to be able to start on the land speeders tomorrow, and potentially be done with them, you know, all together. And I also realized yesterday on the live stream, I was saying how I had made a playlist. Well, what I failed to do was actually load that playlist up, so you were hearing the same song over and over, but you should not be now. So. Sorry. Let's see here. Now, for those of you new to the channel, if you're tuning in now, and I probably should have covered this earlier, but we're still learning. This is a, you know, decade, well over a decade, man, probably almost 2 decades worth of dreams, if you will, of having, you know, one of every army and all that kind of stuff. And I bought stuff, you know, through the years, but I just never had time to put things together, believe it or not. And you know, and now I do, and have a, can't say it enough, got a great wife that supports me, supports my hobby and what I want to do. So, you know, what more could you really ask for? And you know, as I put this stuff together, it becomes a reality, and she's actually seeing, in some ways, you know, the, I don't know if we want to say fruits of her labor of supporting me. You know, is it really labor intensive? Probably. But yeah, I mean, it's a really neat thing. I've actually personally never in my life, and I've said this before on other videos, I've never actually seen a Ravenwing army of any scale in real life. So I'm kind of excited as well for this. You know, one of my other hobbies is riding motorcycles. I used to race motocross, and this, you know, kind of lends itself to, you know, my wheelhouse. And that being said, I I actually had made a racing game, you know, using some basic 40K rules, but kind of a, you know, death race type of thing, and it worked out actually very well. It was pretty fun, and wasn't overly lengthy. You know, a lot of fast dice rolling, and you know, any game like that's typically really good to go. 2, 6, 8. But yeah, we've got 24 of these bikes to finish putting together, and some of the stuff you didn't see off camera, as I was trying to do some of this stuff throughout my day today, was cleanup of some things. I mean, I've still got some other things I need to clean up on the bikes, like some of them need some more wheel cleanup, and I had to straighten some things up as well. I'm not sure what happened, but I had some backpacks that shifted in the night. I don't know if it was the temperature change in the house as far as the glue is concerned or what happened, but it came out, and I had 2 or 3 models that the backpack was literally crooked, like nothing that I would have ever, you know, approved of when I set it down. So I'm not sure exactly how that happened. So I'm doing rows of 10 here, just so I can, you know, keep myself, you know, on track. But I mean, they're looking great, and I've been also in the process of doing all of this today. I've been watching YouTube videos, you know, on how to make my channel, you know, better. And of course, you know, one of the biggest things is going to be, you know, camera. So I'm curious, you know, with this new setting. Oh, this guy, he's having his own party over here apparently. You know, with this new setting that I saw, if it's going to turn out better. I mean, I'm sure that through the Wi-Fi portion of it, there is, you know, some data loss or, you know, pixel loss or something like that. But the biggest thing for me is, you know, getting started. You know, you got to start somewhere. And also, what was I going to say? Until I get a cord, an actual cord that'll feed from this to my USB 3.0, this is the best that I have to work with. I have a webcam. It's the Logitech Brio, but no matter what I have done with that thing, can I get the picture that some of these YouTubers out there that claim to be using that camera, the picture that they get? I don't know what it is. So, you know, we got what we got, and this is a pretty, you know, expensive phone that I have here. The, what is it, Samsung Galaxy S20 and or 20s, S20 or 20s. Anyway, and it's got one hell of a camera on it, so, you know, why not use it now that I've figured out how to do it? But yeah, I'll be anxious to see how clear the video is on this one, you know, on playback. But like I said, I'm really stoked on how quickly this army in particular has come together. 50 should be 51 bikes, I believe, or 51, 52, or 53 bikes total when you count the command squad. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I think it's 51. For some reason I got 53 in my head, or thought I had 53. And you know, I mean, that's pretty comparable, you know, to a sizable Space Marine army on, you know, of infantry models. The only issue, or not issue, but the only difference will be, or significant difference will be, the amount of painting that'll need to be done. So obviously I need to work on right here keeping my fingers in the, or my hands in the shot. That's something else that, you know, I'm looking forward to down the road, is getting some type of scaffolding, if I have to make it myself or whatever, to put the camera, you know, over top of me so you can see what I'm doing better and my hands aren't getting in the way. At least that's the goal. I would raise, you know, the camera, or raise, you know, pan the angle up. But I thought everybody would like to see, you know, the bulk of what we're doing across the table, and what I'm doing right here isn't necessarily, you know, something that's really high speed to look at. So yeah, here we go. Actually, wow, imagine that. We've got 20. We actually had 20 of these normal ones. Oop, we missed a trim job here. How about that? Let's see here. We actually have 20 of these regular fairings, and that's gonna leave us. Oh, I stand correct. Yeah, we have 20 regular fairings. But that reminds me, since I wanted my attack bikes to look the same, I'm gonna save those four for the attack bikes. And since that one has a glue on it, I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on, so we don't get, you know, a pocket of glue that dries in there and it doesn't stick correctly. You know what I mean? All right. So now, set those off to the side, and now we'll have 8 of these Dark Angel symboled fairings. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'm sure I won't even pay it no mind, you know, when it's on the table, really. Or who knows, once I get back into the Dark Angels Codex, there might be something else, you know, that maybe these bikers become something else. I think there's, what do they call them, the Black Knights or something. I just read about them. You know, might be the ticket for those guys. You never know how this can pan out, you know, for getting your, you know, getting the most out of your army. It just takes a little bit of time, research, and, you know, go from there. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the music. Hopefully it's not too loud. I had tried to get some more upbeat music involved. You should have heard all 4 songs, and I believe it should have started over by now. I can't hear anything. I actually would like to put some music on, and I'm going to. I gotta run it through my excuse me, my headphones though. Sure is nice seeing these bikes all lined up, isn't it? You know, and all I can picture in my head is the maneuvers they're gonna do on the tabletop, you know, on the battlefield. See how all that pans out. You know, what kind of hate, discontent, and confusion we can cause, you know, our enemies. But it's all for fun. It's not about taking the game serious. It's not about, you know, getting upset. That was something I talked about yesterday. You know, your whack players or win at all cost players. WAAC. Sound like I'm on a radio station. WAAC. Coming at you live. But yeah, this is a, you know, another milestone. And then of course the question is, you know, what's next, you know, after the Ravenwing? Well, the plan right now is to clear out this one particular IKEA case, but as I've thought about it, I gotta readjust that one. As I've thought about it, the Ravenwing, the Deathwing that I have to put together, and the Dark Angels that I have to put together, I have a feeling that they're going to mostly take up the majority of that case. So what probably needs to happen is I need to relocate the Black Templar models, Blood Angels, and Tau. Go ahead and put all of the Dark Angels together, you know, whatever type they are, and then put them in the case. And it shouldn't be too hard, and it's also going to free up the Chaos models that I have, because most of all of the Dark Angel stuff from here on out will be coming out of the Dark Vengeance box sets. So yeah, they're push fit or whatever, but they have all the icons on them, and you know, they don't look that bad to me. You know, Games Workshop's done a pretty decent job with the detail. Yeah, it kind of sucks they're a little mono pose, but you know, for the money at the time plus the amount of models, I mean, you can't really beat that. Dark Angels was an army I had a long time ago, and I gave it to somebody, and I've done that with actually quite a few armies in the past. I won't be doing that again. I don't want to say I regretted giving it to them. It's just that it wasn't appreciated as much as I kept hoping it would be as I would continue to do that. And I guess I finally learned my lesson. But you know, especially all of the work, you know, that's involved, you know, with painting them, because these were fully painted armies and whatnot. Somewhere in the ballpark of 20. It was usually 2,500 points from a 3rd edition standard, if that helps you understand. But as far as size goes, and you know, it is what it is. So. Like I said, lesson learned, and now I have given one army away, or 2 armies away, I'm sorry, to family members. I gave man, how big was that Tyranid army? I think that Tyranid army was close to 6,000 points, actually. A lot of older models, you know, 2nd edition type models and stuff. And Hormagaunts and Termagaunts, you know, the Hormagaunts used to look like Geiger's Alien. But it was fully painted. It was one hell of an army on the battlefield. And then I gave my Salamanders, which, if you look in my videos, when I go across the cases, you'll see a green Salamander army in there. That's not mine anymore. That's my wife's. Because I wanted to strip them down. And I can't remember if I said this in another video or not, I may have, but I wanted to strip them down and repaint them because of, you know, how much my skill level had improved. And they're not painted bad by any stretch. They're actually, you know, painted to what I would consider a pro standard for dry brushing the entire model, aside from like your eye lenses and things like that, because that was all the rage when that happened. And that was back in 2004, I believe. I built that army, and I took 30 days of leave, and that's all I did. I didn't, you know, there was no point in me going home to visit family at that point in my life, so I just took my 30 days and went from there. Did you look at that? Oh man, I wasn't paying attention. Good thing it's not dry. I put 2 of these Dark Angel fairings on there instead of the 2 flat ones here. Easily remedied. Seven left of these, and you know, they could be used for anything, you know, I mean, who knows, maybe I could put double fairing protection. I don't know, I'm just kidding. Alright, so and I also didn't want to bore you guys with putting all of these little icons on, real tiny icons that are on the the fenders of all the bikes. The front fender, actually, if you can see that, not too bad, I guess, but they're on both sides of the fender, and we'll have to put some on land speeders anyway, but I mean, this is a ton, you know. Alright, so next step, we're gonna carefully and gently, because some of these aren't quite dry, Go ahead and put them back in our box. We've got some workspace. And believe it or not, now comes the most annoying part of this build. Putting these posts on, I don't know what the deal is exactly, but they just do not want to sit right, no matter what you seem to want to do with them. And you've got to finagle them into place. They're not even like sculpted or printed or mold, whatever you want to call it. They're not even straight. And what I'm getting at with that is, if you take a look at one of these and you look at it, it looks like not the feather part, okay, not the feather part, but the other part, this portion right here, the eagle's head, it's supposed to be metal. It's got rivets in it and everything else. But when you put this up behind the rider, everything is twisted, and it's not the feathers, it's the eagle. The eagle is twisted off to the side, so you've got to finagle it in such a way. It'd be one thing, to say, oh, well, maybe it's, it's waving or bending in the wind. No, this is too thick for that to be happening. In regards to, really looking at the structure of this thing. So we have to sit here and we need to scrape off the back of it where it marries up to the bike, and then scrape the bottom a little bit, make sure that's trimmed up and nice and level. And now the fun begins. I'm being sarcastic if you can't tell. We line this up best we can, and then what I've done is I use the blade of my thumb, the blade of my X-Acto knife and my thumb, to line it up to keep that eagle from twisting. You may have to roll your X-Acto knife out of there because it may get stuck with the glue a little bit. But then when you go to position this thing, make sure you put both thumbs, and I know you can't see me doing this right now, but you put both thumbs on either side of it to line it up. Give it a second and then carefully set it off to the side, like so. And you probably, if you're an experienced hobbyist, you're like, man, what the heck, man, you're making a mountain out of a molehill with this description of everything. But see, that's not the case. That's literally not the case. I'm looking at it now and it wants to twist back again. So I've got to manipulate it back over and then gently let go. Now, I mean, is anybody really going to be looking at that, when you're playing the game? Probably not. But I mean, we're trying to have something we can appreciate, right? And even though we're taking some shortcuts, like not trimming the stuff that you can't even see, let's go to the part, take the steps that we need to for the stuff you can see. We might be able to get away with not having to scrape it, but it's a big might, I promise you. Because doing all these other bikes, it's been the issue the entire time. Yeah, see, that's all twisted. And remember, we're also lining it up at the bottom, so you've got that issue as well. See, now I've got to lean this over and turn it because it's, being a pain. So this will be a, clearly a slower process than everything else we've done thus far. Did I just say the word thus? That's funny. Must have been too much reading. Is that even such a thing, too much reading? So I didn't scrape this one. We're going to see if we can maybe speed up the process here just a tad bit. Alright, looks like we might have a little too much glue on there. This is what I mean. It's a chore. It's a chore putting these on. I almost wish they would have just elected to put a hole in the fender that we could seal up or stick a pole in. But I'm not exactly sure why they did it this way, but yeah, that's not lined up in the back. Go. When you go to push this over, you got to be careful because it'll kick the back out from the seat of the bike, and you don't want that. But man, I'm telling you, this is one heck of a Ravenwing army. Although I will tell you that the ones from the Dark Vengeance box set, the wings look different. And I believe, I don't know for a fact, but I believe the Dark Vengeance box set came after these box sets. For Ravenwing. Pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So now we got some. It's not a trim fail, it's some glue got on this and picked up some stuff off the desk here. But if you're here watching this video, please do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and comment. I want to, anything you'd like to see. We're obviously on a mission here, but if I can fit it in, I'll be more than happy to try to do so. But I'm curious. Look at that. And then you have times like this where it falls right into place. What the heck? It's just the way it goes, I guess. Well, I say it fell right into place. It's semi-twisted a little bit. Yeah, I've kind of jinxed it, I guess. How are we looking at the bottom? Bottom's kicked out just a hair, but nothing to be too overly concerned about. Nothing anybody's gonna notice, I don't think. Again, we're not going for a golden demon here. We're not entering any painting contests or anything like that. We're just getting the job done. Another method that I tried was putting glue directly onto the bike itself. The only issue I ran into with this was I felt like, I didn't prove this to myself, but I felt like I just put too much glue down to make it work. I could be wrong though. Yeah, this wants to fall over and kick out. It's like it's just, the glue is pushing it out. Like it's riding a little wave of glue to the shoreline of the rear fender. But I guess all in all, we're still making really good progress. Because when it comes time to put those other Marines together and stuff like that, I mean, other than, you know, searching through the sprue to see what goes where, I mean, they're going to go together fast. They're, you know, the trim will go fast for the most part, I think. And when we get to regular, not non-mono pose or multi-pose Space Marines, again, I've been putting Space Marines together for so long. I can't, but I mean, I can almost do it with my eyes closed, if you know what I mean. Let's see here. Put this one on. I'm gonna take a swig of a drink and put the music on for myself. Because listening to the quiet in my own voice is annoying. Nope, he twisted on me. Son of a gun. Alright, get a swig of this great value purified drinking water with strawberry crush in it. No, I'm not being paid by them, but if you're listening, I'm kidding. Alright, let's get some tunes going for ourselves here. And hopefully not knock the camera over. I'll try my best not to get lost in the music and just be silent. It's 11:17 Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. night. I don't know if anybody's gonna get on for this, so probably out partying, on a date or something. And I would not begrudge you that. The main point of doing this live like this is, while I don't really care in my personal life what people think of me, and you shouldn't either. I think that's what really brings about depression in folks and unhappiness. You should worry about you and you alone. But what the reason I'm doing this is, when I get done with all this, at least to my knowledge, I don't know that this has ever been attempted or achieved, to put this much stuff together by one person, with, non-stop. It could be, I don't know, maybe some of you guys have worked for Games Workshop before and you've got some extraordinary tasks, like, hey, here's 10,000 wheels, You know, we need these for Warhammer World, so cut them off the sprue and trim them up and get them glued together. I don't know. But like I said, to my knowledge, no one's ever done what I'm attempting to do, to include the painting. Will we get it all painted and everything put together and painted by the end of this year? No, probably not. Not to a standard I'd be happy with, but you know, the idea is to have a long journey, and if I've done anything, I have created a ton of YouTube content inadvertently, because you know, YouTube didn't exist back when I started all of this collecting. Man, this one just does not want to play ball. Sometimes you hit that glue spot just right, and it doesn't want to move anymore, and it's awesome when that happens. Like that one. And then you go back and you hit it with your finger like that. Oh my gosh. Wasn't ready, I guess. This one is really being a pain. Let that sit for a second while I work on another before I try to move it. And I mean, you know, if we weren't putting these on, I mean, these bikes, for all intents and purposes, would be done. But, you know, what's Ravenwing without some feathers? I'm trying to remember, too, if back in the day, the Ravenwing models, I didn't look, but if the Ravenwing models back then even had this stuff on the back, I don't think they did. I think they were just black bikes. They might not have even had an actual Ravenwing symbol. Might have just been the Dark Angel symbol, but I can't remember. Glue! That was a take from the movie Dune when they had, it wasn't Stilgar, I forget the guy's name, but he yelled at the obelisk saying, "Break!" After he had, you know, a guy kick it and hit it and try to cut it. Told him to yell at it, and everybody started laughing, and so he yelled, "Break!" and it didn't happen. But then as soon as they put the weirding module on him, you know, of course he blew it apart. Or, well, actually they didn't put it on him. They, Paul Muad'Dib, you know, told him to step back, and you know, ended up blasting the obelisk apart. This obelisk is of your hardest stone. Am I showing my nerd yet? Nah, that's one of my favorite movies, man. And of all the renditions that they've made since, they just never seem to top that one. I mean, in my mind, Dune was ahead of its time, man, like decades. Well, that's 10 done. 14 more to go. We got this. Well, 14 more bikes to go. I'm actually putting these on the attack bikes too. These little things. But the attack bike is its own beast. It's got its own problems. Once they're glued, you know, they're pretty solid. Just getting them there is the problem. what I did with the other bikes too is once they were solid, I went back and put a little dab of glue there just to give it some strength, you know. Of course, all that serves to do is if I ever drop these things on the floor, you know, it breaks off the pole, and then we're stuck with the base being there. But, you know, such is life, such is Warhammer. I mean, who hasn't dropped a model on the floor? I watched a mini wargaming episode one time. It was orcs against, I think it was Nurgle. I'm not sure, but anyway, the guy had a Wasbomb jet or some kind of orc, you know, aircraft. I don't remember exactly how he was playing it, but I was getting up to get a drink, and then all of a sudden, man, you hear no, and you look back, and I guess he had knocked his plane off the table and it hit the floor and broke, so he was stuck playing with just the fuselage on the clear stand, which was, it was tragic, but it was funny, and he seemed to, you know, laugh it off, so that's good. You know, I've actually been other places though, back when I was really heavy into 40K. If something like that happened, or, you know, you threw the dice too hard or something, I mean, this never happened to me, I just seen it, you know, dice too hard into somebody's models, or you let the tape, you know, your tape measure fly too hard when you were reeling it back in, and it hit a model, you know, guy would freak out, you know, over his paint job or something like that. And I'm not gonna say that he shouldn't. I mean, you know, there's ways to avoid this stuff, but the extent to which, you know, the guy, you know, was, I think in one instance the guy wanted to throw the other guy's models all over the floor or something like that. This was years ago, but it's just, you know, it's a game, you know, I mean, relax. And if it's that bad, you know, I mean, give the guy a chance to at least, you know, make it up to you before you fly off the handle and want to go, you know, beat the hell out of you. Yeah, like I said, I tried to play a little bit in 8th edition around here where we moved to, and you know, I wish I could have played. I played a couple, well, maybe 1 or 2 good games with somebody, but there was another guy I played with, just way too much of a tryhard, and you know, it just, you know, winning was everything to that guy. And I mean, you know, I mean, he's put a lot of money into his army, and but he had one of those, you know, tournament army lists, and I don't know, maybe he was just a really good player for the store, you know, until someone else came along. I don't know. You know, that's kind of beyond me. So one other thing, I think I mentioned this, that we're going to do, I'm going to have to redo the count. I got to count it first. If I don't have enough, I'm not going to do it, but I'll save them for a different bike army, because I've got more bikes, but they're not going to be for the Ravenwing. I'm really like thinking about either my own chapter that has bikes. I mean, I have a chapter that I'm going to be, you know, that I'm making. I want to save that story for another time, because it's got an actual story, and I have since decided to possibly change the color, their armor color scheme. I'm not committed to it yet because the story doesn't lend itself to that, but it would be an easy fix on the story as to why their armor is different. But I think it might take away from who they really are, and you know, I don't want to do that really. guys can just attach yourselves just like that one just did every time. Just go right into place, be solidified. But I'll take it. One is better than none, right? You know, I think I got sidetracked. I wanted to make sure through doing this on the video, again, that if no one else has done this, it's, you know, it's recorded. You know, and I mean, who knows, maybe it'll give somebody some inspiration to break out their, you know, plastic and get it done. You know, who knows, but like I said, well, I don't care what anybody would ever think about me. I think I wouldn't want them to think that I didn't actually do this, or, you know, had any reason to say, oh, you know, could have had a bunch of other people helping them do it. I would never let anybody do that. This is, you know, it's my project, my burden, if you want to call it that, and it's my challenge, and I'm committed, excited, motivated about it, and I want to, you know, it's a test. And by the time I get to the point where I'm ready to paint, even just to prime these models, it will be one of the greatest days, because I will know, well, I mean, I'll know what's waiting for me once they are fully painted. I mean, I'm already excited just seeing all the bikes. I mean, you know, I'm sure many of you have or still play with, you know, gray plastic, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I will say that once you've had a fully painted army and played with it, that, you know, it can be a little hard to go back, you know, to that gray. But to be completely honest with you, I haven't played in so long. And maybe it's the detail of the models, you know, the way they're made today, I don't know. But, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at these bikes, and I'm just, you know, I want to go downstairs and just throw them on the table and start playing a game. You know, I don't have anybody to play with. It's way too late as well. But, I mean, just looking at them and knowing the possibilities of, you know, how much fun I could have, you know, for something that I've waited so long to do. It's an intriguing thought. We're getting there. Stream health is excellent. That's good. Try to get myself some different type of headphones, because these are, they kind of make my ears sweat a little bit. Well, I say my ears sweat, I feel stuffy, I'll put it that way. I don't actually have any sweat, but thought about the earbuds type of thing, but the issue with that is I don't like having all of that electronic crap near my head anymore. I used to be big into Bluetooth and stuff, but I got a lot of headaches and stuff, and I don't know that it was from that, but ever since I've stopped, I don't, you know, I don't have headaches from that. Or didn't have headaches. Now my headaches come from something else that happened, but that was overseas, and it's about as far as I'm going to go into that. Alright, 4 more of these, and then the attack bikes. And then we can dab some glue and get the guns put on. Count the backpacks, and these bad boys will be finished as far as assembly is concerned. And they will go in the box with the rest of them, ready to put on the shelf and look glorious in all of their gray. You can get a little bit of the glue that's on the outside of your crazy glue bottle that's more gel than it is runny glue. That seems to help out a little bit. One problem I have, and it's because of my calluses from work as well as riding motorcycles and playing guitar and stuff like that, is when I go to push down on any of these models, one of two things happens. I can't really feel what it is that I'm doing to a point, and then the other is there may be a rough edge of callus or a rough edge on the model that gets stuck in my finger, and then when I go to release it, I end up pulling the piece of plastic with me, you know. I'm sure many of you've run into the same issue, whether it's glue stuck to your hand or whatever. What about persona, meaning, or in terms of the type of person that plays 40K, the type of person that's, you know, into, you know, toy soldiers, if you will. What makes that person do that? Is it creativity? Is it just the love for the, you know, the lore, the sci-fi? Is it escape from our real world? Is it a combination of all of it? I'd say it's probably, for me, it'd be a combination of all of it. I do scuba diving as well, and I look for people's lost jewelry and stuff, and where we're at here, I mean, I've been diving most of my life, but where we are here, there's no, you know, crystal clear water or anything like that. You know, it's mostly dark lakes that, you know, the average person would not want to go down there because you can't see anything. It's dark and scary. You know, you don't know what's down there. Doesn't bother me, but I just know that most people wouldn't do that. But where I'm going with that is down there, or as soon as my head goes below the surface, the rest of the world doesn't matter to me. And it can't matter to me, to be honest with you, as far as safety is concerned, because the type of technical diving that I do, I can't have another diver with me because they're going to get in my way. I can't see them, they can't see me. I've got lines that I have, you know, out that tell me where my center point is, you know, by feel. I'm basically diving blind. And if they were there, you know, they would just complicate the problem, potentially get hung up in my lines, and it creates a safety issue for both of us. But you know, and then so you've got to be more aware of what's going on. I mean, again, it's a technical diving thing. It's not recreational diving or anything like that, and you know, it's a job at that point. But regardless, as soon as my head goes below the surface, you know, I'm in my own world down there, and I'm happy. Like it's a euphoria that I can't even really explain to you. I mean, most divers, you know, and also this particular type of diving, I'm not swimming around like a lot of folks, you know, do in normal recreational diving or anything like that. I'm literally crawling around on the bottom like a stinking catfish, running into every rock and stump and sharp object or whatever else is down there, looking for somebody's lost ring or necklace or car keys or whatever. And you know, I find a signal or get a signal on my metal detector. Sometimes you can figure out what it is, sometimes you can't. It just depends. And like where we're at, there's a lot of pyrite in the, you know, up here. And for those of you that are No Man's Sky, and they might even have it in Minecraft now, I can't remember. Anyway, those of you that are fans of those games, you'll recognize that word. But that pyrite, it will set off your metal detector as if you're hitting, you know, gold in a way, and it can give you a false signal, and you got to dig everything because you have no idea what it is, and you could be sitting there, you know, for 5 minutes in one spot, you know, and you know, you obviously don't have unlimited air on a tank. I'm one of the fortunate people that I'm in shape enough and have been experienced enough that I can, you know, typically get about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on how I'm feeling or how cold the water is, you know, at 30 feet. So, and, you know, some of you guys, you know, maybe if you know very little about diving, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, you know, the bends, blah, blah, blah. That's not how this works. And believe it or not, you're off gassing the entire time. Meaning you're not becoming saturated with nitrogen. So, let's get these, you know what, we're not going to put those on the tack bikes yet, because I got a feeling that's going to get in the way of what we need to do. Well, I'm going to let those dry for a little bit, and what I'm going to do is work on the attack bikes, the crew member anyway. I'm not going to put the guns on yet. I think that might be like the last thing that we do here. Oh, lost the wheel. The wheels aren't actually glued on. I just, you know, if you looked at the video yesterday, I just had them on there to help level out the sidecar plate. And for some reason, I can't explain why, we have an extra sidecar plate. So, who knows? Maybe we can use it somewhere else as a, what am I trying to say? A spare part to make another attack bike, maybe, perhaps. But I've had a pretty interesting life, doing things that most people, you know, probably never even heard of or couldn't imagine doing. It's kind of unbelievable sometimes when I think back on it, but here I am sharing a hobby that we all know, and getting excited about what this, you know, what we can do here. And I'm pretty happy about this playlist that I put together. Another great thing is they're all copyright free songs, so for anybody at Here We Go, any of the artists or the people that release this, if you're watching this video, or I doubt you got this far into it, but if you did, thank you for making this music. It's great. and it's music for content creators. So if any of you decide to ever start a YouTube channel, the name is Here We Go, all one word, and look for them. They've got all kinds of different songs and music. I'll apologize if you're hearing me sniffle. I don't have a cold or anything. I think I get to the point where I'm holding my breath sometimes when I'm doing this, and I don't realize that I am. I know I do that when I paint, that's for sure. Okay, so those are drying. One of the most odd things about these attack bikes is this fender that goes over the wheel. It's so odd the way it sits there. It's like at this awkward angle, and it just, maybe it's just my OCD. Wait a minute. What the heck? Because here's another body part, but I don't have another bike. Huh. That's 3, 4. Yep, here's another arm piece. Got 5 sets of that. Well, somewhere, somehow. Oh man, I guess I had planned way ahead, and I put 5. Oh goodness, 5 normal fairings over here. So what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Man. I don't know, maybe I can take them off, but I don't know. I'm not sure it's worth it. But, yeah, for some reason I'm coming up with parts for a 5th bike, but I don't have, unless I'm supposed to use one of these bikes. I may have to. Let me think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I only had... Maybe we did have. I'd have to go back and count things. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to sacrifice a bike for another attack bike or not. At least not for this army. Because what I've got right now planned out is 8 squads of 5 bikes. Man, that's crazy. How did that happen? I guess this is just how it works when you got too much stuff. Let me see here. Let me look at this. We've got 5. There's 5 land speeders left too, so we must have had 7 boxes. Yeah, so alright, well. Oh boy. Do we want to do this or not? That is really the question. Or do I save it for another army? I'm thinking save it for another army. What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat. There's nobody in the chat right now. Yeah. That is a rough decision, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to figure out if I should do that or not. Well, while we're doing that, let's go ahead and put these fenders on this one, and the first thing we're going to do is glue this wheel on. And in the process of gluing this wheel on, we need to make sure that we do it this way and that the axle is lined up directly in the center, or it's not going to work right. Your hubcap won't fit in there correctly. Okay. Then I'm going to put the hubcap on. And it also has to be lined up because it doesn't fit in there evenly like, you would think it would. It sits closer to the top. I don't know if it's just me or I'm tired or what the heck is going on, but I've never had these kind of issues with this part. I'm spending way too long on this right now, in my opinion. Do is I'm going to pull the wheel out like I just did and let it sit that way, supported by the hubcap. Might be the better solution. Right. For some reason I keep grabbing the headphone wires. I don't know why. Keep my fingernails real short for playing guitar and other reasons, hygiene and whatnot. It does not lend itself well to picking up, picking up stuff that's flat against the table, that's for sure. Still haven't decided, guys. I'm still torn whether or not I should attach another one or not. I mean, that's what it's here for, but man, you know. This will be the biggest bike army that I'll own. So I'll let those sit for a little bit. In the meantime, let's go back and do a little dab of glue in those spots now that these things have settled. And you don't have to put it all over, you just need to put it in one spot, you know. That way it'll find its way in there. Seep in and around everything. Give it a little bit of added strength. Fill up any gaps, perhaps. We're rhyming now, apparently. That's just great. Something I'm trying to figure out is I look at the analytics of the stream and it says 1 concurrent viewer. Of course, I know that's me because I have it open. Well, I guess that's me. Pretty sure it is. But it says 3 playbacks, so I don't know if people just clicked on it and I missed it, or you know, that they were in here, or what the deal is. Also, if you have any models that are gapped and you're trying to get glue in there, push the nozzle up against it as you know, basically squirt or force the glue in there. Don't just like necessarily just drape it over top, because sometimes it won't make it all the way in there. You don't have to push a lot, but yeah. As you guys can see, I'm putting it in the exact same side for each one. Well, I guess you couldn't see because my hand was out of there. Right in here. And the side here is where I'm putting it. that's all I'll need. I don't need to put it all around it or on the other side. I really like the last song on this playlist. It's really great with the guitar, kind of almost Spanish guitar-ish. Reminds me of some early Joe Satriani. Remember, the whole point of this whole batch deal is having a plan so that you can do one thing while the glue is drying from something else that you've done. That way, hopefully you're not going back and things are just falling apart in your hands. And you're not wasting time. So, alright. Do some trimming on these bodies. Get my hands back in the camera. See, now it says 4 playbacks. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. Maybe it was 4 people that clicked on it and went, this isn't what I was looking for. What kind of horse crap is that? I don't know nothing about no 40K Warhammer. What is this, medieval times? And I'm not making fun of anybody in the South. I'm from the South. I just don't have the accent all the time because of the military. Alright, so we're going to put these fenders on the attack bikes because they're kind of a pain to deal with, to be honest with you. And like I said, they don't seem to sit right. They always want to sit like pointed in towards the, you know, the shooter, which just doesn't make any sense to me. But I think it's a weight issue. Well, I say that, and this is completely lined up, and it's still pointed in. So it's gotta be a modeling issue. Of course, we'll want those to sit there and dry because of how fragile that position seems to be. thing I've noticed about these attack bike gunners is no matter how you put this together, the body does not want to fit straight up and down. It wants to lean to the inside, and that presents a slight problem when you're putting the arms and stuff on. This one wants to be a pain. All right. Okay, let's get these arms over here. While that's gluing, we'll trim these up if we need to. Looks like we do. On the insides. Okay. Still not decided on this. We got 6 bikes, and I feel like that's the route we should go. But since we have a codex here, let's see. I'm assuming this is the right one. We'll check the index real quick. Index, but 2017, so it's probably the latest, I guess. Yeah, there's Primaris in there. Okay, so I'm gonna check real quick. I'm gonna roll over here to where the bikes are. Bikes. So interesting. What I'm looking at here is I'm trying to figure out how I want to break this down. If you know, essentially if how I want my squads to be, or how they should have been, really, how I designed it. And the way what it says here is this unit contains 1 Ravenwing sergeant, 2 Ravenwing bikers, so 3. Can include up to 3 additional bikers, so that's 6, or up to 5 additional bikers, so that to me means 8, not, you know, 6 plus 5. And it can also include a single Ravenwing attack bike. So right now, with the number of sergeants I have, which is 8, I have 8 sergeants according, you know, the way the model is done. And if that's the case, then, you know, and I was counting on squads of 5, that means, you know, 8, that includes a sergeant. Let's just do this count one more time. Oh, the joys of massive armies, eh? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, plus 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 27 plus 24. Excuse me, should be 51. Yeah, 51, okay. Minus 8 for the sergeants, leaves 43. So we have 3 extra bikers. And if we made this other attack bike, since we have 6 right now, that would leave us 2 extra bikers that could go with the last squad. Or we end up with 2 squads. One of I don't know, maybe I'm too tired to be thinking about this. It just boils down to making this last attack bike. That's the issue for me, you know, whether I should do it or not. And I could probably hear some of you saying do it, but I mean, I could, you know, I could potentially save it for the, you know, other bikes. I just don't know of any other army, honestly. I mean, I've got other bikes, that's the thing, I've got other bikes, and I only have one other attack bike, and that's the one with the metal gunner on it, and it's not Ravenwing at all. So, man, this is a hard decision, believe it or not. So, if I take the 7 and 8 squad, and they're at 5, and I put this here, then I'll have a squad of 5, 6, 7, 8, plus the attack bike, a squad of 9. No, 6, 7. Yeah, it'd be 7. Alright, we're gonna pull a trigger, and we're gonna go ahead and make one of these guys. I need a right head. There he is. Make one of these guys an attack bike. Hopefully this won't be too big of an issue trying to put this plate on, because normally I do this before everything else has been put on. hubcap. We got it over here. Hopefully I'm not going too fast on this part. Kind of violating just about every rule that I go by. Yeah. This wheel looks crooked on here too, man. I don't know why. It's not a good omen. That's for sure. Let's just leave those alone for a second. Alright. And what I typically do here, because it's such a pain to line this stuff up. Oh, looks like we need more glue. 1 second. Let me grab some glue here. Grab some glue and a secondary magazine. Kidding. So this glue appears to be relatively old. That's unfortunate, but it'll be gelish, so it's still workable. But anyway, what I do with this is I look at my last one that I've done to where I want everything to be, and then I try to line it up that way as far as where the control knobs are, to give me a roundabout idea of where it needs to sit for the gun sponsor, the gun itself. And that should put it right in the ballpark that I need it. And the goal here this time is to get these lined up, let them sit in glue, or harden, and then I can put the shoulder pads on outside and then sit it all down at one time. I said that's the goal. This one apparently wants to play games with me. This particular glue is the kind I would like to have had gluey like that or jelly like that for Tyranids. Something coming out of their mouth or something, you know? I really hope that that this video is as clear to you guys as it is to me, because then that means I found the right setting, which I'm really hoping for. Alright, let's see. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, the bikes over here are done, except for these little, you know, backpack things that I want to see if I have enough to do it. Oh wait, I'm sorry, they are not done. I did not put the guns on. Excuse me. But these little ammo can backpack things, I don't know that I have enough. I mean, it looks like I have enough, but I really gotta take a look. Matter of fact, while we're waiting on the stuff to dry, I'll do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, 30, 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 53. That is, it's enough for those bikes, but it's not enough. Wait a minute. It is enough because, let's see, I think I already set these aside for the attack bikers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, we have enough. Holy smokes. We have enough for every bike. Now the other question is, could it fit on the Dark Vengeance bikes? That does not look like the case. It may fit on these single ones, but the double ones probably not. But let's see. Let's see. If we can fit that on there. It'd be kind of neat if it did. Does not look like it wants to, and I'm not gonna trim that up to make it fit. So the sergeants, well, and I guess the sergeants don't need to. I mean, the other guys can fix their bikes. Let's see. Nope, it doesn't fit. It does not. They do not fit on the Dark Vengeance bikes. So that's a little unfortunate. And since I'm a stickler for detail, we're gonna say we are not going to put them on these bikes, except for the attack bikes, like I did before, because I just don't want to see it like that. I'll save it for something else. It could go on my Imperial Guard tanks and stuff, or anything else whenever I get that stuff going for my Steel Legion or my Krieg Death Corps, and if I ever get a Cadian army or something like that. So that answers that question. Let's go ahead and mount this fender on here. I guess if I really wanted to, I mean, it's not too late, but I could have magnetized this thing, this whole kit, this whole car right here. It's amazing stuff you think of after you've already committed to it. just don't know why they would have this fender act like that instead of symmetrical, kind of straight up and down, you know, whatever. I don't know why they would allow it to do that. And it's just like the old bike too. It does the same thing, same annoying pitch. Oh, I didn't put. Oh, that's right. That's right. Get this body on here, and then we'll go to finish up the regular bikes, putting their guns on, and they will be done. And then we just got to finish the attack bikes, and we can call it an evening. Well, we may call it an evening before the attack bikes are done, but we will definitely be starting on the land speeders tomorrow at some point. We have 5 of those for this army. Well, I'm sorry, 6, because I gotta get some other parts. I have more land speeders. They've been sitting around in sprues for a long time, but I still have all the parts, I'm pretty sure. And if I don't, I've got extra. I mean, with them, I have extra parts from this box set, which was pretty interesting. All the extra stuff that you got, you know, weapons and, you know, stuff like that. I mean, like I said in one of my videos, I am almost positive that 2 of those pieces in there are dreadnought, like knee plates or something. It's got to be something like that. Those still sit over there because, believe it or not, I don't know what it is with the plastic on these particular pieces, but they just don't want to. You got to be careful. They got to glue, at least in my experience. All right, so I'm gonna take a look at this glue here for a second. No bubble, so that's pretty thick glue. We check out his partner in crime. Looks like there's a bubble. So if there's a bubble that I can get to move, that means that the viscosity is not that bad. Be a little more runny, and that's what I need for this next step for these bikes, because I don't want to be sitting there screwing around with stringy glue, gelled glue. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want right there. It's a little jelly, but not that bad. Let's go ahead and move these guns over here. Try not to spill them on the floor. Problem now shoving them in there, because the fairing should be on nice and tight. And with the guns, all you got to do is glue that one little piece, shove it in, and then ride it down to the fairing, and then kind of spread them out just a little bit so that they're straight, you know, not tilted in at each other, and then you are done. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing with this army a little bit. You take on a whole new look once you put those guns on, boy. That's good. Take a look at the guns from the front to make sure that they're not only evenly spaced apart, but also that the barrels are lined up, you know. Especially since down the road I'm going to be drilling those barrels. I don't want to have to go back and risk ripping them out of the bike and breaking something off that can't be fixed. Part of pulling them apart from one another, like away from one another, like this, helps make sure that the barrels are in fact in line with one another, because when they go in, they kind of go down the fairing for some reason. You can see how smooth and fast it goes once when you have everything set up in your little piles and your method. The same thing applies to painting. I mean, unless you're working on a new scheme. That's how I feel about my Adeptus Titanicus stuff. You know, I spent, oh my gosh, I don't even know how long working on, you know, that one Titan that you guys saw back in an earlier video, and it's not even done. It was just, you know, experimenting with the colors, and I wanted to paint things, you know, sub-assembly instead of all of it together, because I wanted to give it the, you know, the love or desire or credit that it's due, since I've been waiting for 20 years to even play the game. And, you know, I'm kind of glad that in some ways I didn't invest in the older version, because, I mean, my gosh, the models are, they're so amazing. You know, to have a, you know, a model that's almost an exact replica of the Forge World one is, it's just, it's awesome. And, you know, someday I hope to own a Forge World model or Titan, but right now I've got two of these other Titans. I forget the name of the company I bought them from back when they were first getting started. And they've got their issues, you know, they're very top heavy, and the foam for in some regards doesn't hold right, and there's some stuff that needs to be done to shore them up, but they are, for all intents and purposes, you know, really nice models. I mean, now I've never actually played a battle with them, and it took a long time to get them because they were made to order, but you know, there's nothing stopping that from in the future. Alright, so we've got a slight issue with this one. Wants to play games with me. So we actually have to glue down this point. Why I was doing that. Also, this fairing looks crooked. Like something's off. This fairing is crooked. That stinks. Oh, we're gonna have to freaking rip that off. Yep, that's what I was afraid of, and it did it. Once you go to pull these off, man, they break off inside. This was no different. And now I gotta trim this piece off because it won't. If I go to glue it back on, it's not gonna glue flat. I'm not sure why that went on crooked, to be honest with you. I'm gonna fix it right now. Yeah, that looks better. So stick these back on. Hope we can do it all with the fairing at the same time. Otherwise it's going to be unfortunate too. Fix that. Looks like we did. gentle with it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna finish these bikes, the regular bikes, and then we're gonna call it a night. It's almost 1 in the morning here, Eastern Standard Time, United States of America, for those of you not in our nation. And still have a day job gotta do. So we gotta pace ourselves. It's not like the models are gonna not be here waiting. So there's that. I really hope what I'm seeing on the video, the detail is what you guys are seeing, because if that's the case, that is amazing and awesome. I really want that video quality to be good for you guys, especially when we get to the point of painting. Like I said, hopefully I'll have a scaffold built by then and you can see what I'm doing. So if you were hoping for a complete build tonight of the bikes, I apologize. It was my intention and my goal, but gotta get sleep too, gotta work the regular job too. And what's good is we've got a great head start. We only have a couple, more things to do really. Tomorrow we'll have the attack bikes to finish, which won't take any time at all really. And then we go right into the land speeders. man, I keep forgetting about those guys. So we got 3 more bikes to do, and I've not put those together before, so we'll have the Apothecary and some other stuff, but I guess they can be made into Black Knights, and I'm gonna want to make sure that I don't turn them into, you know, a one object thing, because I don't like doing that. I want the most for my money. I've spent enough of it, of course. So anyway, all right, long way to go. We do have a long way to go in the scope of things, but we accomplished a lot this evening, especially after a long day of work and everything else. Put that jelly one over there. Put the tools away because, you know, got a little one in the house and we don't want him to get hurt. And over there, in case a dog's snoot gets up here. Since we're not using these anymore, put those in there. We need 5 of these, or 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. And actually, some of these have little purity seals on them. I think I'm going to use those mostly for this. So there's 2 purity seal ones. There's a third. I need a 4th. There it is. I'll take the rest of these. Get these out of here. We need 4 of these. Oh wait, no we don't. Actually, I'm gonna put these back over here with their stuff. I got an entire pile over here that's nothing but attack bike stuff, in no particular order, but it's all attack bike stuff. And I would put these Ravenwing symbols in this box to get them out of the way, but since the next project we're working on is the land speeders, I'm gonna need some of them. So, but all right, thank you guys for hanging out for 2.5 hours. Hope it was enjoyable, and thank you for hanging with me on this long project, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.